This is about the guy in Las Vegas who is an Israeli national, Ori Solomon. The Israeli owner of a secret biolab in Las Vegas was released after authorities discovered over 1,000 samples of deadly viruses, including HIV and tuberculosis. This is in a biolab in Las Vegas. And this is what's happened. So we're going to run through this real quick.
Charges of disposing or discharging hazardous waste, according to state records. The home, which sits along Sugar Springs Drive near Washington and Hollywood Boulevard, that's where the FBI and other agencies before 6 o'clock Saturday morning raided that home, finding refrigerators with vials containing unknown liquids in that locked garage. Sheriff McMahill confirming once again what our investigation team first reported, that this is actually part of a broader federal investigation in California.
As our investigation progressed, we determined that the home was owned by the same individual connected to a prior illegal biolab investigation in Reedley, California that occurred in 2023.
Sheriff says 3 other individuals were actually inside the home the same day of that raid. They were renting rooms. They were removed from the home, and they're not involved in that investigation.
Authorities releasing this.
What's interesting about this story is that it says Clark County. Clark County is where Las Vegas is in Nevada. But apparently this is also taking place in California as well. And what I find all the more disturbing about these particular stories is that you have the Red Scare with China, you have the other Red Scare with Russia, and all these stories, but you never seem to hear any particular stories about these guys getting busted. Oh yeah, we have these biolabs, bioweapons that could be sprung upon us at any time. Now, I bring this up because I was speaking about this earlier with Jen, and why I feel that the walls are truly closing in now. So again, who is a guy like Ori Solomon? He's nobody. I mean, he's an Israeli national who clearly is working in a biolab and could be planning something really dangerous here in the States. Well, for those that have been paying attention to a story that isn't getting anywhere near the amount of attention that it does deserve is, of course, what is going on regarding Iran right now. And this negotiation about whether or not we are going to have them summarily dismiss any and all intentions of potentially having a nuclear weapon. But Jen, as you've pointed out time and again, you think every nation should have a nuclear weapon if you want to combat the Western hegemony led by the U.S. and Israel.
Well, you say that like I'm like a pro-nuclear weapon person. Like I've been unarmed basically as peace wanting to be as humanly possible. Like I don't start stuff. Like, right, as my friend Mona Lisa says, there won't be no shit if you don't start no shit, right? Like, so I don't start shit, but I wouldn't trust us. If I were Iran, there is not a chance. First of all, I wouldn't negotiate with us. There's no reason to. We don't abide by agreements. The next administration doesn't abide by agreements. The current administration doesn't honor any. There's no integrity. We invite them to negotiate, kill their negotiator. So if I were them, I wouldn't negotiate with us at all. But being that they are where they are in this, it makes sense to me that a very large amount of their population is pushing to go forward with the creation of a nuclear weapon because they're scared of us. And they saw, why don't, and you said this, Peter, like, why is it we don't go after North Korea? Why is it we went after Libya? Because,
one gave up their nuclear weapons and the other didn't. And that's why
Iran they honestly, I've advised them on my show. I'm like, if you're Iranian, yes, you should have nukes. Because I wouldn't agree with us.
Well, first of all, the Trump administration,
No, please, Dave.
Oh, the Trump administration will constantly move the goalposts too. So at first it's no nuclear weapons, and then it becomes no ballistic missiles. So the reality is, Jen, I completely agree with you. I think if Iran had a nuclear weapon, we would not be bothering Iran.
Exactly.
So that is an absolute fact. Yes.
And on the eve of the Super Bowl, this was a public statement issued by the worst person alive on earth right now, because apparently the negotiations with Iran is not going quite according to Israel's plan.
אני דורש מממשלות המערב לעשות את מה שנדרש כדי להילחם באנטישמיות ולתת את הביטחון הדרוש, את ההבטחה הדרושה לקהילות היהודיות בעולם. וכדאי שיקשיבו לאזהרות שלנו.
Okay. See what he says? it would be wise if you heed our warnings about what we say you should be doing, whether it's with Iran or how we are combating anti-Semitism. Now, we have brought up time and again the Samson option and the danger that the Zionist ideology presents for the world at large, particularly us. I mean, I think that there's reason to believe that when you start seeing deadly biolabs popping up that are being run by Israelis, who's to say that they don't have plans for us if we don't go along with what they want, especially if the walls start closing in? What do you guys think?
I think that Israeli nationals were laughing when 9/11 happened. So I think they're capable of anything. So that story was very scary, if I'm being honest. It kind of was chilling. I didn't see that. And I certainly do not trust the Israeli government in terms of being a good friend to us, because all they care about is us doing their bidding.
The other problem is that a lot of times when these stories happen, they just disappear within a day. You heard, I'm sure, about the other story in Vegas where the Israeli national was caught raping a 13-year-old.
Yes.
And then the next thing you know, they get a plane ride from Vegas over to Tel Aviv and no one ever hears from them again. And that person was a government employee and they were kicked and they were taken out.
I think he was his communications director, no? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And therein, and again, this is where I think a lot of the Jew hatred comes from, because there is this perception that they are treated as the chosen people, that they can do no wrong, that they can actually break laws, commit murder, mass murder, genocide, and nothing happens. And in lieu of the Epstein saga, you have the deputy attorney general coming out saying, we're not going to prosecute anybody for anything. So why would the average person ever believe that there's justice in this world, that there is just law, that there is one to abide by? I don't see it. But what I do think is to be taken very seriously is that when you see a story like Ori Solomon being caught running a bioweapons lab in Las Vegas, arrested and arraigned at the backdrop of this story coming out about Netanyahu saying, you must listen to what we say, otherwise bad things might happen. And now he's meeting with the president for the 6th time. And there was a time where he would come to the States once every few years. Mm-hmm. Now he's come to the States 6 times in less than 1 year. If you ask me, there's something very unholy about what's going on there. What do you think?
I think we are definitely going to war with Iran. So I hate to say it, and I have a deep connection to Iranians and Iranian food and Iranian culture. So
excellent
when I hear
food, by the way,
the best, that's my connection. I love their food.
Hey, that's where I'm always with people. Whenever I meet people from somewhere else, the first thing I'm thinking is, do I like their food? Do I need to meet their mother? Does she cook? Like, these are the kinds of things that it's true.
I tell everybody, if you haven't been to Das Ethiopian in Georgetown in Washington, D.C., that is one of the best restaurants I've ever been to. And most people would not know what Ethiopian food tastes like, what it entails. But my goodness, if food in so many ways is not the great equalizer for a lot of different people around the world, it really does bring people together, for sure.
100%. Injera bread is amazing, just FYI, from Ethiopian, their bread. Yeah. It's so good. But yeah, I do think that we are going to war with Iran. I think that the only thing, I feel like the thought process that we're going to war is so embedded in my brain now that it's no longer, are we going to commit airstrikes in Iran? It's, please don't have ground troops, because I don't want any war with Iran, but ground troops is a whole other ball game. And it's like, we throw the word airstrike around in the United States, like, oh yeah, we'll just drop some bombs.
Right.
And it's seeing a bomb go off, it's an inferno. I mean, people's heads are burning off. It's so bad. And I feel like unless Americans understand what it's like to see what a bomb does, I feel like we will never fully understand what it means to strike another country. All we see is a death count, and we see, this person died, this many people died. And it's like, for some reason, it doesn't resonate with Americans anymore. So I'm just hoping there's no war. That is a very large country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had enough military expert people on this show and talked about it enough. I think we are going to go to quote unquote war with Iran. What that looks like. I mean, at the end of the day, in order for our country to be able to have a ground invasion in Iran, we would have to have a draft.
It was conscription.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that really is a level that most people in Washington on either side do not really want to go to, because it won't work well. And what we can do in Iran is, we can do a lot of damage. We could do a lot of damage, but they have been preparing for this for about 20 years. They absolutely are prepared for this. We are not. And when we do attack Iran, what's likely going to happen is they're going to take out at least one aircraft carrier of ours. So that's about 1,000 people, according to Colonel Wilkerson. So that's at least 1,000 people right there, one aircraft carrier. And then that doesn't even consider the bases that they'll take out. And by the way, they'll level Israel. So we might blow them up, but they're taking Israel off the map. And also, and when that happens, and like, for me, that's part of why I want them to do it. That's part of why I want them to poke at Iran, because that will end Israel. And while it will be ugly, it's like, it'll facilitate the end of the Zionist state. It really will. So I think, Netanyahu can sit there and say whatever he wants. They'll end their existence. So
Iran says it could dilute its 60% uranium stockpile if all sanctions end amid renewed almond talks and uncertainty over missing nuclear material. Tehran is prepared to dilute its stockpile of highly enriched uranium if sanctions against Iran are lifted, the head of its Atomic Energy Agency said on Monday following indirect talks with D.C. Mohammad al-Sami, head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, said the possibility of diluting 60% enriched uranium depends on whether all sanctions would be lifted in return, according to the official IRNA news agency. The statement did not specify whether al-Sami was referring to all international sanctions on Iran or only those imposed by the U.S. The offer comes as to the whereabouts of more than 400 kilograms of highly enriched uranium Iran possessed before last year's conflict with Israel, and the U.S. remains unknown. So there you go. I think that this is again, it's like we're playing war games here. Like, this is,
except Israel's not playing. They're ridiculous. No. And the problem is they're not even supposed to have nuclear weapons. And notice we're not ever talking about that. They're not supposed to have nuclear weapons. Any nuclear program that they have is in violation of international law, as is everything else they do. So why shouldn't Iran have nuclear weapons?
I agree.
But again, they can destroy Israel without them. And that's something people don't understand. They can destroy Israel without nuclear weapons. They don't need nuclear weapons. And also, then they'll set our oil fields on fire. So people want to start by looking at gas prices that are like $20 a gallon, because Iran is not messing around with us. They've had it with us. They're not playing. They're not even going to do proportionate response anymore. They're done playing with us.
Yeah. I mean, everything you just said made sense. When you say they'll destroy Israel, I get like a chill down my spine, obviously I have family there, and not for that reason, but just the thought that, just to touch on what you said, Israel should not have nuclear weapons because there's only one country in that region who attacks their neighbors. And one country I don't trust.
Correct.
Iran doesn't attack their neighbors. I mean, they do it through their proxies, and that's the general response.
Like us.
Yeah. If every country had proxies, they would do it too.
Right.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. But what's going to happen is, I am scared that if Israel is on the brink of getting flattened, that they would use a nuclear weapon.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.